Later this evening, Lindsay Lohan and Lindsay Lohan star as twins in The Parent Trap. At 9, Solomon Kane is a mercenary eager to atone for his past misdeeds. But will redemption follow? And stalked by a great white shark with a taste for human blood, The Reef at 11:05. Getting a fortnight of films underway now from the wonderful world of Studio Ghibli. Every feature film, plus a few others by future key members, 1 p.m. tomorrow and 11 a.m. every week morning. Beginning now with the English language version of the Oscar-winning Spirited Away. Tomorrow, our Studio Ghibli season continues with Arrietty from 1 p.m. Mary Norton's Borrowers gets animated. Next this afternoon, Japan and the United States prepare to go to war in Tora Tora Tora. Later this evening, it's what's inside that counts when the outside is positively beastly. That's at 7:20. Getting his gang back together for one last job. Mark Wahlberg and Kate Beckinsale in Contraband at 9. And at 11:10, a biopic of legendary singer Tina Turner and her husband Ike. What's love got to do with it? Now in Film 4 and continuing for the next fortnight, we have all of Ghibli's feature films, weekdays at 11 and weekends at 1. For now, a blend of exquisitely imaginative animation and good old-fashioned storytelling combine as Studio Ghibli relocates Mary Norton's tale of Little People, The Borrowers, to Japan. This is the English language version of Arrietty, which features the voice of Saoirse Ronan. Tomorrow morning from 11 and every weekday morning for the next 2 weeks. Enjoy some Studio Ghibli animation. It's Nausicäa of the Valley of the Winds. On the way next, a group of prisoners escape only to find themselves on a very mysterious island. Can 2 kids and a talking cat stop 3 evil witches? Hocus Pocus at 7:05 this evening. At 9, when good mates and bad relationships meet. It's Friends with Benefits. Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake star. Then Tom Hanks, Daniel Craig and Paul Newman in director Sam Mendes' Road to Perdition at 11:10. Well, first this morning, it's our Studio Ghibli season, and indeed it's here every weekday morning at 11 for the next 2 weeks. An early classic now. Can Nausicäa of the Valley of the Winds save the day, or will clashes with monsters and a dying planet prove too much? Tomorrow at 11, an intrepid journey begins. Howl's Moving Castle continues our Studio Ghibli season. More animation later today at 3:20. Brad Bird directs a take of Ted Hughes' tale, The Iron Giant. Well, next, fantasy meets fable. What secrets does the mythical land hold? Warlords of Atlantis. Alicia Silverstone's world is about to be turned upside down when a hot new boy hits high school. We're Clueless at 7:05 this evening. At 9, trying to get the spark back, Meryl Streep and Tommy Lee Jones in the Film4 premiere of Hope Springs. And a middle-aged loser takes revenge on everyone that's ever annoyed him. Jet black satire, God Bless America at 11:05. Well, getting us started first this morning here on Film 4 and continuing our Studio Ghibli season. The story of a girl who incites the wrath of some jealous witches upon meeting a famous wizard. An intrepid journey begins in Howl's Moving Castle. Tomorrow morning at 11, our Studio Ghibli offering is the story of 2 teens who share a love of books, Whisper of the Heart. Later tonight at 9, trying to find that spark again, Meryl Streep and Tommy Lee Jones star in the Film4 premiere of Hope Springs. Well, next this afternoon, James Mason is a threat to the throne in Prince Valiant. Later at 10:07, a young girl must rescue her friends from the darkest corner of the world, the Golden Compass. At 9, James Cameron's visually striking epic, Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana star in Avatar. And at 12:10, Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte are back on the beat. Another 48 hours. Well, first this morning, a delightful animated tale of growing up as two teenagers are drawn together by their love of the same books. Our Studio Ghibli season gathers pace with a screenplay from Oscar-winning Japanese director Hayao Miyazaki. It's Whisper of the Heart. Tomorrow morning at 11, we're making all sorts of new feline friends. More Ghibli animation with The Cat Returns. Later this afternoon at 3:10, Jessica Alba is juggling packed lunches, school runs and some Spy Kids. Well, next, Freddie Highmore and Sarah Bolger find a secret book that opens a whole new realm, the Spiderwick Chronicles. Well, long before they formed Studio Ghibli, Isao Takahata and Hayao Miyazaki collaborated on a landmark in Japanese animation, overcoming the influence Disney had on the industry in terms of style, of storytelling and animation. A young boy braves the elements and makes some unusual friends when he returns to his family village. From 1968, it's The Little Norse Prince. Well, to begin first this morning, here on Film 4, a teenage girl is reminded of a childhood gift when she risks her own life to save that of a mysterious stray. An action that leads to all kinds of adventures with some new feline friends. The Studio Ghibli season continues with the English language version of The Cat Returns. Tomorrow morning at 11, we begin Good Friday with the Studio Ghibli animation. It's Kiki's delivery service. Later today at 3:20, a group of prisoners escape only to find themselves on a very mysterious island. Well, on the way next, Teenage Angst in Eastbourne, a charming coming-of-age comedy, Angus thongs and perfect snogging. Well, finally, for tonight, a Studio Ghibli favourite, and a reminder that weekdays at 11 and weekends at 1 p.m. are your times for the rest of the season. Whilst returning home from Tokyo for a reunion in his hometown, a young man remembers his high school days in ocean waves. Well, getting us started first this Good Friday morning, a magical journey of wonderdom as a young Japanese girl follows her true calling. Directed by the legendary Hayao Miyazaki, Studio Ghibli's Kiki's delivery service. Well, our Studio Ghibli season continues with My Neighbour Totoro tomorrow at 1 p.m. A spooky one next. Can two kids and a talking cat stop three evil witches in Hocus Pocus? Well, finally for tonight, and continuing her Studio Ghibli season with the one that introduced many to the wonderful world of Ghibli. Winning the Best Animated Film Oscar in 2003, a young girl finds herself trapped in a mystical realm where she must find a way to save her parents. It's the original Japanese language version of Spirited Away.
Continuing our Studio Ghibli season now here on Film 4 with a beloved animation from director Hayao Miyazaki. Two children and a single father move to the country and make surprising new friends in the enchanting My Neighbour Totoro. Tomorrow morning at 11, when you escape from the planet of the apes, it's the humans you've got to watch out for. Next though, Geeky Greg's desperate to be the most popular boy in school in Diary of a Wimpy Kid. The destiny of a soldier, the honour of a slave, the fate of an empire. The Eagle still to come today at 6:45. At 9, Kristen Stewart and Charlize Theron in our big Easter Sunday premiere. That's Snow White and the Huntsman. And then at 11:25, it's George Clooney versus Sexy Mexy Vamps in From Dusk Till Dawn. Now on Film 4, Hayao Miyazaki's enchanting tale of a young boy who makes friends with a fish who just happens to be the daughter of a powerful sea goddess and who wants to become human. Perfect Easter Sunday entertainment from our Studio Ghibli season. It's Ponyo. More Ghibli tomorrow morning at 11 as a young boy's dreams of flying are turned into engines of war in The Wind Rises. An awe-inspiring American animation in The Iron Giant coming up today at 5:05. Next, Jane Austen moves to California as Alicia Silverstone stars in Clueless. Well, first for Bank Holiday Monday, with the Oscar-nominated directorial swan song from Ghibli giant Hayao Miyazaki. A moving portrait to the power of creativity with a star-studded vocal cast. This is the English language version of The Wind Rises. More Ghibli tomorrow morning with arguably a candidate for greatest anime ever, Princess Mononoke. That's at 11. Next, Jessica Alba spending some quality time with the family. All the time in the world, in fact, in Spy Kids 4. He's the very best bodyguard that pocket money can buy. Meet Drillbit Taylor today at 5 to 7. George Clooney will be trying to keep his head above water when tough times hit in The Descendants at 9. And it's Dawn of the Dead for the Sisters of Arrietty Row, paying the price for a prank gone wrong at 11:25 tonight. Magic from Oscar-winning director Miyazaki now here on Film 4. There's action, adventure and romance with a pig in a plane. A Studio Ghibli favourite from 1992, Porco Rosso. More Ghibli goodness tomorrow at the same time with a very early one from Miyazaki, The Castle of Cagliostro. Next today, Brendan Fraser in Inkheart. Well, first this morning, our Studio Ghibli season presents the first feature film written and directed by animation pioneer Hayao Miyazaki. Based on a long-running manga series from the 60s, uncovering a counterfeit money scam, dangerous ninjas and a princess in distress, you can expect fast-paced fun in the Castle of Cagliostro. And there's more Ace animation tomorrow at 11 o'clock with Pom Poko. On the way next, Jodie Foster's all grown up about 10 years too soon when she changes places with her mum in Freaky Friday. Well, to finish the day, a rather different Studio Ghibli offering from 1999. Based on the 4-panel Japanese newspaper, Nono-chan, and also Ghibli's first fully CGI film using digital animation to create its distinctive watercolour style. It's My Neighbours, The Yamadas. Seats in an upright position for Airplane 2's spoof sequel comedy at 7:20 this evening. Kristen Stewart's the gal who's the fairest of them all in Snow White and the Huntsman at 9. And at 11:25, why biological weapons and inhabitants of small American towns just shouldn't mix in The Crazies. Well, first this morning here on Film 4, our Studio Ghibli season continues with an eco-parable that draws parallels with Watership Down. It's the English language version of Pom Poko. US animation about the Russian royal family tomorrow at 11 in Anastasia. Next today, though, a far from civil war as Oliver Reed and Lionel Jeffries star in The Scarlet Blade. Or to close tonight, an early one from Studio Ghibli. Stunning animation recreates the final days and horrors of the Second World War in a defeated Japan, where a young brother and sister fight for their survival. It's the Japanese language version of the solemn and compassionate drama, Grave of the Fireflies.
Later at 7, will Heath Ledger melt the heart of teen ice queen Julia Stiles? 10 Things I Hate About You. At 9, John Cusack has got a hot tub time machine and it's sending him back to 1986. Then director Nick Love takes a gritty look at the culture of violence on the terraces. The Football Factory at 5 to 11. A fantasy adventure now here in Film 4 as our Ghibli season comes to an end this weekend. Castle in the Sky is tomorrow at 1 p.m. The Wind Rises will be at 1:30 tomorrow night. For now, rival wizards clash in a magical world as Ursula Le Guin's Tales from Earthsea comes to life.
Left.
Well, finally, tonight, we're bringing our fortnight of Studio Ghibli films to a close now with the Oscar-nominated and final directorial feature from Hayao Miyazaki. Unable to follow his childhood dream of piloting planes, one man turned his hand to designing them. With subtitles, this is the original Japanese language version of The Wind Rises.